Welcome to The Message Behind the Melody, a podcast where faith, hope, and worship meet through the gift of music. I'm your host, Jeff Larsen, and today we're diving into the inspiration behind another one of Melody's amazing songs. Each episode, as you may know, we explore the heart and the story that shaped the music. Behind every single lyric, we know that there is a message or story we're sharing. So sit down with us today as I ask Melody and we get into the details that help bring this song and these stories to life today. So welcome, Melody. How you doing?
I'm good, Jeffrey. How are you?
I'm doing all right, thanks.
You did such a good job.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
You're a great host.
Okay, thank you.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. So with today, this is episode 2. So
episode 2.
Yeah. So yes. The first one came off without a hitch and got great feedback from people. And so today we're going to basically dive right into the story. But I did want to say and just mention that each episode will kind of be a standalone episode. It not necessarily something that builds on each one. So you don't have to go to episode 1 if you found us today. You can just jump in and catch up on episode 1 later. So it's not necessarily important that chronologically you stay with us. We may make references back to episodes, but none of that will make you feel like, oh, wait a minute, what are they talking about?
Well, episode 1 just kind of gives the background to why the podcast.
Right.
So,
and then a story behind
and then the story, the story of it.
Someday.
So, yes.
And so today we're going to jump into just another amazing song. Why don't you introduce the title, and then we can kind of talk from there.
The title of this song is called Faith, Not Fear.
Okay.
I mean, the message pretty much speaks for itself, but the story behind the song is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and maybe I'm not sure. You can go whatever direction you want with this. So as I ask a question, if it's out of order, that's fine. Just kind of talk where you want to talk on it about this. But maybe just real quick, give a couple of lyrics that you really like from the song, something that stood out to you. Maybe the inspiration or how those lyrics came to you, and then we can talk about the story.
I'm trying to think about what my favorite lyric is of the song, but I think it's the chorus is, you got to have faith, not fear, trust in God above, giving up your will to His.
Yeah.
And I think that when we understand, like, what His will is for us, that He wants us to be happy, and that He doesn't want us to live in fear. He wants to help us live in faith.
Yeah.
That it makes that lyric even more special.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And this is another one of the songs that has been in our playlist for quite some time. So I've heard it dozens and dozens.
This is one that's got a little bit more of an upbeat melody. And so I listen to my songs all the time when I'm out walking the canals.
Yeah.
And so this is one that it gives me a little bit of boost in my step. The message is really uplifting.
Okay.
And so I love it.
Yeah. And I would say, several thoughts come to my mind that I'll share as we kind of discuss the story. But I think this is probably as good a time as any to go ahead and just let's go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes of this. How did this song come about, and what really is the story or the inspiration behind it?
Well, so many of my songs that I have written have come after I have read something, like where I'll read something in scripture and then the inspiration comes. This song was one that came because of an experience that I had the year before.
Okay.
And
so this one actually dates back. So
the story dates back, the experience dates back, and the song was kind of written based on the experience.
Okay. So in some cases, I think that's a little different than the way that other songs have come to you.
Because so many of the songs I've read something in scripture, and then as I've been pondering it, the lyric comes, and then I write. Where this one, I started pondering about the experience that I had had, and like really what it means to have faith and not fear.
Okay. All right. So with that, so it kind of goes over the course of 12 months or so.
Yeah, well, I mean, the experience itself was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, last month in
Okay.
September, and it was, obviously we've gone through a little bit of a rough patch, and I vividly remember before this had even happened, I had knelt down to say my prayers, and it was a pretty interesting experience as far as I've never had an out loud, like, ugly cry prayer.
Yeah.
I don't know how else that I
Uh,
can put it other than I felt like I poured out my heart and soul to Heavenly Father. And so I'd never done that before.
yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you're just like, where are you?
Mhm.
Do you know who I am? Do you know what I'm going through? Sort of experience.
Yeah, I certainly have had those feelings. I think the only ugly cries I've ever had have been maybe over a sports team that I think of the Super Bowl in particular, but in this the Cardinals losing to the Steelers, super sad day for
It was. It
for
was.
Cardinal fans. But other than that, I haven't had an ugly cry, like, but I've definitely felt abandoned, and I've definitely felt like that maybe I'm insignificant enough that God's not really aware
Of
of
what you're
me and
going
the
through.
sufferings, and I've had some real special experiences myself, and we might get a chance to share some of those today too. But yeah, I've had a couple where it's just like, and for me, one case in particular, it was back when I don't know if you remember this, but we had just opened our restaurant, had invested a ton of money and a ton of effort and energy into it. And I just remember thinking, with all this effort and all that, this was not working well. And I just had thought, well, we're doing what we're supposed to do. We go to church. If you want to check boxes, we were serving and volunteering and paying tithes and all of the things that you're supposed to do. Um, and just felt like I just didn't feel that kind of love. And I'm not kidding. No sooner had I had that. It wasn't like I was on my knees praying, but I had that in my head, kind of a prayer in my heart. That in walked to our restaurant. It was about 15 young men and women that had been serving the Lord voluntarily on missions, and they came in. Now the funny thing is that for us is that most of the time we fed those young men and women for free. We allowed them to eat there as part of the
Mm-hmm.
benefit, but it was so timing was so perfect that it was like the Lord's telling me, yeah,
Hey,
I'm very aware of you.
yeah. And sometimes you do. You have those experiences where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you're there, and
So I took over on that. I apologize.
well, no,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that totally leads up to that. Like, where are you, and where are you showing up in my life?
Uh-huh.
And so that was a Tuesday. That was Tuesday before this horrible Friday, and Jeff was gone hunting, and we were I was planning to just have a weekend, a great weekend, curled up on the couch under a blanket, just enjoying the weekend.
Enjoying your time away.
No,
not
just
my
just
time
like
away.
some me time. It's okay to have some me
Of
time,
course.
right?
Yeah.
And I was finishing up a cake. It was the end of the day, and in walks Jeff. And it caught me off guard because he's supposed to be at the Grand Canyon area hunting. And anyway, he is white as a ghost, and he just said, "It's gone, it's
Yeah.
gone." And then he went and he slammed the door to his office, and I had an employee that gave me a look like, "What is going on?" And we this is kind of being vulnerable. You're okay with being vulnerable?
I'm okay with being vulnerable.
So anyway, we she looked at me and I was like, I have no idea. So here I am trying to pipe this cake as my hand was shaking. What had just happened? And then one by one, our employees start coming in with their paychecks saying, the bank won't take this. The bank won't take this. So I immediately got up and walked to the office and opened the door. And Jeff in our marriage has always been the one that's like, we're good. Like, don't worry. He's the calm one. I'm the worry wart. I worry about everything. And so this happened to see him in this state of like, head in his hands,
Yeah.
guttural sounds coming out of him. And I was like, what happened? What is going on? And basically, in a nutshell, we got hacked. We were hacked, and
victims of major like cyber crime and credit card fraud, and it was no other way to say it than a coordinated attack on every single
one of our
financial institutions. And there's a whole nother podcast to be had about how to avoid this for your own selves. And if you're interested, by all means, feel free to contact us, because I have learned a lot.
But so, in a nutshell, like overnight, through the night, somebody had hacked into our accounts and basically cleaned us out of our retirement. And that was tough.
No, it still is tough, right? It doesn't make it any less tough being a couple of years away, because it was a significant gut punch, and it was and it's something we haven't recovered from yet financially speaking.
Yeah, we're working on things, but anyway. So with that, it was a different weekend. Monday morning came, and I don't know if you've ever had those weekends or days or where you just literally can't feel like you can get up out of bed.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. So it was a Monday morning, and I had gotten out of the blue a text from a good friend of mine, and it said, your word today is blessing. You're a blessing to your children. You're a blessing to your husband. You're a blessing to your children. You're a blessing to your grandchildren. You're a blessing to the sisters of our congregation.
Yeah.
And you're a blessing to me. And right as she said that, I had the thought come to my mind, ask her to go walking with you. And so I thought, okay, she was recovering at the time from an injury, but she's an Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, here I'm going to be asking an Iron Man to go walking. Okay. So I text and I said, can we go walking? ? Can I walk with you tomorrow? ? And she sends back 6 a.m. ? So we go out to the canal and we're walking, and halfway, like the canals here, it's like a road, a canal path, and then a road, and each are sectioned off by the roads.
Yeah.
And so we were walking and we were on this stretch, and I had this feeling, like this voice that just said, tell her what happened to you. And, when you're in a place of pride, a place where you don't want anybody to know, like what's happening in your life, especially something like this major and devastating, you don't want to let them in. You don't want to share. And I waved it off. Like, no, I'm not. She has enough to worry about, let alone my own problems. Right. And I waved it off. And so anyway, it came again, like, tell her what happened to you. And so at that point, of course, I'm still a puddle from the weekend and everything. And so I'm very emotional. I tell her like what had just happened to us. And she didn't know what to say. It was just like, oh my gosh, Mel, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she really just didn't have much to say other than I don't know what to say, but what do you say to somebody who's had something, a major
Yeah.
blow like that happen. And
I think a lot of times we feel like we have to say something, right? And the reality is that I don't know that you were sharing it with her
I
to
wasn't
looking for
like,
advice.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like, why am I
yeah,
telling her this? Well, we got up to a place, and now this is the place on the canal that I always turn around and come home.
uh-huh,
The place beyond it, it's a little bit. I'm a little bit more uncomfortable on that patch of there's. It's just unfamiliar,
mhm,
and there's some places in it where they're a little sketchy,
mhm,
and so I've never gone past that point. I've always turned around to come home,
yeah,
and we stop, and she says she's 5'10",
yeah,
I'm 5'6",
mhm,
and she looks down at me and she says, "Do you want to keep going?" And when she said that, I had like this thing. I explained it last podcast where I felt like my heart
mhm,
stopped beating and then boom started beating again. And I went, yes,
mhm,
and so we kept walking. And I went out the next morning to count the steps from where I physically saw this. It was 86 steps until painted on the block wall
mhm.
from top to bottom were the words faith, not fear.
Okay. Yeah.
And she wraps her arms around me and we just cried and sat there because I literally felt like here I'd had this ugly cry prayer. Like, where are you? And do you even know like what I'm going through?
Yeah.
And then to 4 days later, then this really, really, and then to physically see faith, not fear.
Yeah.
And so we kept on walking, and it was about probably another yards, 100 yards up the way. There was a girl. There's a trailer, like a trailer park area, and there's some dumpsters, and sometimes there's beds there. I guess like people sleep behind those dumpsters, and so we came up on that part, and there was a girl that was standing in the middle of the path,
Oh,
and she was just kind of standing there staring at nothing. Like,
mhm,
and Janine, my friend, walks around her this way, and I walk around her the other way. Well, then I look, and Janine stopped, and she's pointing at the ground, like with her mouth
yeah.
open, like, and just like a jaw drop.
Right.
And on the ground was this floor mat, like this tattered floor, like doormat
Yeah.
that would be in front of your door. And you could barely see the words beyond blessed.
Mhm,
And at that moment, when I read it, I heard the voice say to me, um, "You slept in a warm bed last night. She didn't. And then you have a home to go home to. She doesn't."
yeah.
And at that moment, it was like a perspective. Like I just was like, "You're right. Oh my, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way." Here I was
Woe
when,
is me. And,
yeah, woe is
yeah.
me. And when
Yeah.
when Janine asks me, "Do you want to keep going?" I was thinking, no, it would be nice if just a tree fell on me. When you just feel like you're done,
Yeah.
and you don't want to keep going, like you feel like, and it's because it's a fear. Like there's a fear that comes up that feels like it's choking you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably
Well,
felt that weekend.
yeah. Oh no. Well, like you, life does go on, and as you may recall, I actually was assigned to be the instructor that week for our congregation.
So was I.
And we both were, and we were covering a talk that was called "Think Celestial," if you remember.
Yes.
And I distinctly had the impression at some point that it's like, I don't know that I can think celestial after this. I mean, surely I would get a pass from having to think celestial if knowing the circumstances that we had just went through, and I had that same kind of feeling of, you do just have to
Well, and
keep going.
I was like, how do you teach anyone to think celestial when you don't want to get out of bed?
Yeah, it's tough.
When you literally feel like
Yeah.
the weight of the world is on your
Mhm.
shoulders.
Mhm.
And so, fast forwarding, the thing that makes this story just so even that much more amazing, is that next month, now all of our winter visitors are coming back,
Right.
and we had two friends come in, and it's a friend that her mom is a Mesa resident, and she comes to see her in the when the weather turns nice,
Hmm.
here, and when the weather turns bad where she is,
Yeah.
which is why
Montana,
people
right? Yeah.
come to
Yeah.
winter visit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
um, just a really, really sweet friend of mine. And I sat down, and the very first thing that they asked me was, "How are you doing? And how's
Yeah.
how's your restaurant doing?"
Yeah.
And I was like, uh, "Well,
I mean, it's like when people ask that question, and it's probably one of the most common questions that we ask each other. Hey, how's it going? Sometimes it's like you probably don't want the real answer,
well,"
right?
and then you try to be like, "I'm
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, good.
yeah.
It's all good."
Right.
Uh,
Talk yourself into
you're
it.
trying to talk yourself into it, and so, anyways, I had this feeling like, tell her what happened on the canal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, testify to her what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at that point, when I went out and I saw Faith Not Fear, I knew God knew who I was,
Yeah.
and I knew He wanted me to see something.
Mm-hmm.
Why else would He have led me there?
Right. No, it's exactly right, and I think that's there's a couple of messages in the story here thus far, and one of them that stands out is that what a blessing it is to have somebody. In your case, you were able to reach out to a dear friend and say, "Hey,
Well,
you want
she
to go
reached
walking?"
out to me
Well,
first. It was
right, but
like out of the blue, I get
yeah,
this text from her about, it
yeah,
was just like out of the blue,
yeah, and but then to be able to then invite someone that, again, they weren't going to solve your problem. There's nothing that a dear friend, or what I like to call like earthly angels, they're not going to solve your problem, but to be there with you with
Well,
that. So
there's the lyric of the song that says, "He sends angels to guide you,
mhm.
the ones who will walk beside you, the ones who will be
Yeah,
there to help you,"
and that was her
and
that day.
that was Janine that
That
day.
day
That
for
was
sure.
her that day. She was
And
that
many
angel.
other times now,
And
and with Nicole, with Nicole,
Suzette.
Suzette.
So Suzette,
Yeah,
my friend Suzette,
yeah.
she was the one who I sat down, gave a big hug. Her and her mom were there, and I had the overwhelming feeling to tell her,
Mhm.
like, what happened on the canal.
Mhm.
And the second I said, I went out the next morning and counted, it was 86 steps
Yeah.
until I saw written,
Yeah.
painted, "Faith Not Fear" on this wall. And she grabs my arm and she says, "Oh my gosh, Melody, you need to read 86 Psalm. You need to read 86 Psalm."
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "Okay." And she's like, "I feel God is trying to send you a message in 86 Psalm."
Yeah.
And so we finished our conversation, had a great conversation, hugged, shed tears. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I felt God was in that conversation. And it was, I love this saying, "Where two or more are gathered in my name, there will I be also."
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that day. Like, I felt buoyed up by her and her mom. And so then I went back, and I grabbed my phone and I opened up the Bible and I opened up to Psalms 86. And this is what it says. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplications. In the day of my trouble, I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. And I read the definition of supplication, and it's basically an ugly cry prayer.
Ugly cry prayer.
Yeah, and so when I read that, I was just going, oh my word. And again, it was like, here I was having that ugly cry prayer of like, where are you?
Yeah.
Like, do you even know who Melody Larsen is? And then for him to show me the painting on the brick wall, to show me the beyond blessed, to help me see my circumstances in another perspective from somebody who had nothing. Like he let me physically see somebody who had nothing standing there. And then to go, okay, like, wow, woe is me, really? Like, and at the end of the day, like, where is he leading you? Like, when you have fear, like I had that whole weekend, fear that I felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest, like that, where you can't catch your breath kind of fear. And so when my sister and I were out walking, my sister Mindy and I were out walking, and she's like, no, because at this point she was amazed at the music that I was writing, and she was listening to it. She's like, I'm listening to it all day long. I love your music. And she says, you need to write about your experience. You need to write the song Faith Not Fear. And so I went out on the canal, and I went and I walked, and to see that sign, I took a video of it. I took another picture of it, and like, it's special to me. Like, I can't wait to get to that stretch of the canal now. I've been walking a lot in the mornings.
The question is that now, from what I understand, that it wasn't graffiti. It's the back of somebody's wall.
It's the back of somebody's house wall, and from what I understand is during COVID, somebody went out and painted that. It's beautiful. We need a way that we can post the pictures.
Well, you send it. We'll try to get it onto and put it in the video for people to see. But it is special, and I think Mindy encouraged you to put basically pen to paper and start to write the story.
Well, it was crazy, because the minute she encouraged me and I go out there, the lyrics just came. And it was another one that I just wrote down in minutes. I started hearing it. I could feel it. When we submit our will to his, it's like when we align our will with God's will, then it's like, what do we have to worry about? He knows the beginning from the end. He knows, he sees the things that we can't see. And obviously he leads us to be able to where we can get a glimpse of what the possibilities can be in our life when we put faith. Because faith and fear cannot exist at the same time. If you have fear, you're not showing faith.
And it is interesting, and when I hear the lyric like faith not fear, it really means like accepting God's plan for you over your own plan for you. And I think that every single one of us, if we wanted to draft what we would like our life to be, it would be like, here's point A and here's point B, and we want that to be kind of like a smooth line going there. But as we know, God's plan for us, he knows better. In fact, if you go to like one of my favorite Old Testament prophets is Jeremiah, and I've got a lot of reasons for that, but if you look up Jeremiah 29:11, just to paraphrase part of it, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you," and that's the Lord talking to to Jeremiah, talking to them, saying, I've got plans and I know them, and you may not. And I think an exercise that we could all do today, go back to our school days. Did you ever have to write sentences on the board or write sentences for
Being
I
in
will not
trouble?
talk in class?
No,
Yeah.
that was you.
Oh, is that just me? That wasn't just me. I think if we were to all just write, 100 times maybe, is that God's plan is better for me, and do that 100 times, and then eventually develop the confidence to know that when things don't go, it's like to trust in God's plan so much that you don't even get bothered when things don't go the way that you wanted them to, because God's in charge. And thankfully, the scriptures and all kinds of stories from our past and stuff will give us that strength to know that it does work out.
Well, and I think about how many times our kids are like, "But why?
Yeah.
But why, Mom? Why? Because I know best." It's like I know what's best for you.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure when I'm having that ugly cry prayer moment, and I'm just like, "Why?" And he's just going, "Because I know better.
Yeah.
I know I can see what you can't see, and I know what is in store for you."
Yeah.
And then now I look fast forwarding 2 years, and yeah, this last 2 years has been hard. Like we've had to make some pretty tough decisions, and still tough decisions left to make.
Right.
But look at the magic that's happened in like where you become when you're in a place of humility, and where you are humbled.
Yeah.
Where he can take you.
And I think for me, part of it is that I've I don't know if to say got the confidence, but comfort. Maybe that I don't even know how to really express it, but the fact that other people have been through the same thing, have had struggles, and have wrestled with the idea. Well, this wasn't what I was. This wasn't my plan. This isn't what we had in mind. But then to be forcefully recorrected and course corrected to get back on the track or path that your heavenly Father wants you on. And you're in good company. I mean, this guy right here. We know that Christ Himself in the Garden of Gethsemane pled with His Father to say, if there's another way to do this, I'm all ears. But in the end, He said, if not, then it's your will, not mine. And what no better example than I know that will be another podcast. I think that to me gives me comfort. Studied this week about another a person who had the same exact kind of thing. It's like, where are you, God? And where are you, God? And this was a guy that had miraculous experiences, and yet we're all subject to the same frailties. We're all subject to submitting our will to God. And I think, like I've already said, the quicker we can get to that, it's like God's in charge.
And then when you feel like you have faith, and you're like, okay, I can do this, then it's like the doubt and the fear. It's like another lyric of the song. It's like the doubt and the fear are weight upon your shoulders, and you wonder if you'll ever make it through. And then, you've got the devil on your back, whispering you can't. And so the voice that you're listening to, it's like that's putting that fear and that doubt in your mind. And you're like, wait a minute, like it's sometimes feels really hard to have the faith and keep the faith.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've obviously talked a lot about it. Is there anything from the song that you want before we could click play on it? Is there anything you want your listeners to pay close attention to, or is there any one thing?
I mean, it's faith, not fear. I mean, the title of the song is just, please, just have faith. And when the fear creeps back in, like, remember.
Yeah.
I keep being brought back to that remembrance of faith. not fear, and that he's waiting to show you. Like
Yeah.
he wants to tell you, he wants to show you,
Mhm.
but are you seeking to find those things that he's wanting to show you?
Mhm. Well,
And
it's a beautiful message. It's a beautiful song. It's a fantastic story. So thank you so much for sharing it with us, and thank you for
thank
being
you.
vulnerable. I mean, it's in today's.
Well, I didn't know it when I asked. I'm like, oh, you realize that this song really
Yeah.
does open up to sharing what happened to us. But you know
Well,
what?
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I'm now like being out of that 2 years.
yeah,
It's just like 2 years ago, I think the pride of it, like, oh no, like, we can't let anybody know
yeah,
what's going on, to a place of vulnerability and just humility.
yeah. And it's also comforting to know that if our lives can serve, even as a warning to others,
I know.
to
Like
to
what?
heed the warning.
Yeah.
So, but no, and I think in a world of all of this false pretenses, the social media profiles that just show all of the, it's almost like what in our family we talk about as being the Christmas letter kind of edition of what's going on. How
Yeah, it's
the
like
people
you tell,
everything
yeah,
says, hey, great, you know.
yeah.
I just know that during the course of some of those times when the Christmas letters went out, there was things that didn't make the cut. That didn't. Hey, Jeff's
Well,
doing
let's
this.
say we got the for sale sign in front of the house,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
anyway, there's stuff like that. But anyway, thanks again so much for being so
Yes.
vulnerable and sharing with it. I believe that the messages that you're sharing, that you're conveying, not only in the songs but here in front of the microphone like this, are
Well,
such
and
a
I
powerful.
think, I mean, the thought just came to my mind is just that to thank you for the angels,
Mm-hmm.
like that have been there by my side. Like I have so many angels. When again that lyric says he sends angels to guide you, the
Yeah.
ones who will walk beside you, and you know who you are. Those angels in my life that literally have buoyed me up and
Yeah. Very
have
special.
carried me um, to what we've been through.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And thank you for helping me
You bet.
share the story. I love
You
you.
bet. Well, I love you too. And thank you so much for joining us today on the message behind the melody. We hope that today's episode has lifted your spirits, and have given you more or less a deeper connection uh, through songs of faith like this, but also hope and worship. So if you've enjoyed the conversation, we know we've enjoyed it, but if you've enjoyed the conversation, by all means, please click the button down below, subscribe to the channel so you'll get notices of future episodes. And by all means, feel free to share and spread this message by sharing it with friends and family.
Yeah.
You just never know who's suffering, and you never know
Who doesn't want to,
Yeah.
let you in or
That's
share
right.
what they're going through. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot more.
There's probably more out there than you know, and so by all means, feel free to share it. People could use that encouragement today. So until next time, keep holding on to that faith, hope, and the power of the melody. Love you.
Sometimes life doesn't go the way you planned it to. No matter what it seems, you fail at all you try to do. The doubt and the fear are a weight upon your shoulders, and you wonder if you'll ever make it through. Sometimes the disappointment is all that you face, holding you back from all your dreams. The devil's on your back, whispering you can't, dragging you down with all of his lies and schemes. You've gotta have faith, not fear, trusting God above, giving up your will to his. You've gotta have light and hope to chase away this darkness. It's what you need to do to feel him near. You've gotta have faith, not fear. Sometimes God leads you down a path he wants you to be on, to help you become that person He needs. No matter how hard, just look how far you've come. Just trust in Him, it's what He pleads. You've gotta have faith, not fear. Trust in God above, giving up your will to His. You've gotta have light and hope to chase away this darkness. It's what you need to do to feel Him near. You've gotta have faith, not fear. He sends angels to guide you, the ones who walk beside you, the ones who will always be there to help you through. You'll see He's got your back. He will make up for everything you lack. You've gotta have faith, not fear. Trust in God above, giving up your will